somewhere.
All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's switch gears now and go to IEBC.
Yes.
Now, there's a process to reconstitute the IEBC, Prof. You know that.
Yes.
The president signed into a bill allowing him to select the panel, the select panel. And then Azimio Leader Raila Odinga says the president cannot do it alone. So the question is, what is the contestation here?
Well, first of all, let's just go back and look at the IEBC prior to its dismantling in this particular instance. The IEBC conducted an election which was declared in August, okay? As you know very well, Azimio contested that declaration. And the contestation there was in a manner in which Mr. Chebukati conducted the final phases of that election, the transmission of the election and the tallying of the votes, and of course, the announcement itself. As a matter of black letter law, there's a reason as to why the IEBC is composed of 7 individuals, not 6, not 10, not 8, but 7. It's an odd number. It is so that a decision can be taken by a majority in case of a disagreement. It is the same format that is used in the Supreme Court of most countries. It cannot be said, and we cannot live in a country where an institution whose purpose is to carry out the most sacred civic duty in this country, which is to conduct an election, okay? Because, the voice of the people is the voice of God. To conduct an election, to choose a president, to choose, down ballot, race positions and so on, it cannot be that one individual will decide that election. We know what happened at the IEBC. Whether you want to argue about the integrity of the commissioners or not is neither here nor there. But a minority of 3 commissioners called the election, okay, in contradiction of the other 4. Can you imagine a situation in which the so-called CJ of the so-called Supreme Court of Kenya?
It's not the so-called
Mother Kome.
CJ.
I think let me just finish.
Demonstrate some respect for
let me just
institutions. I know you wanted to be CJ.
Let me just finish this point.
And you didn't become
Barack,
CJ.
Let me finish this point, Barack.
Yes, but
okay?
don't
No. Let me finish. No. The so-called CJ of the so-called Supreme Court. Can you imagine in that court, which has 7 individuals, okay, 3 of them, Mother Kome herself and 2 others, reading a judgment of the court? It will not pass muster. I am a professor of law, of long standing. I have never seen a situation in which an institution of this nature could be governed by 3 people in its most sacred and most important duty. So we begin from there, okay? So it just calls into question the integrity of Mr. Chebukati's announcement of Mr. Ruto as president. It raises even more questions when Mr. Ruto goes on to lather Mr. Chebukati and the other 2 commissioners with all sorts of accolades, okay, promising to appoint them in all sorts of positions and so on and so forth. It calls into question when they hound out of office the other 4 commissioners, and then they start to reconstitute the IEBC, absent other political players in the legislature. If you are a player in a game, and I think Omwami here would agree with me, at least on this one, that you cannot yourself appoint the ref.
Absolutely.
To the exclusion of others. This is what has happened, and this is what we are opposed to.
Absolutely, and I was looking at the watch as he was he was talking. So we may need a stopwatch for these processes.
Right.
You know, Professor Makau Mutua, whom I hold in very high regard, as one of the most widely read and very educated people anywhere on the globe, has a way with juggling words and twisting logic, to the extent that if you do not listen to him closely, you're going to be misled. He starts by comparing things that cannot be compared. Comparing tomatoes with bananas. They cannot be compared. The kind of jurisdiction that is in practice in the court system is completely different from the jurisdiction that is vested with the commissioners of the IEBC with regard to the elections. The commissioners deal with numbers, with counting, with tallying, and with declaring the result, which anyone else can also authenticate. In this particular case, by visiting or following the servers and the results that were being posted on the public portal for all of us to do the tallying. You cannot say that you're going to rely on the opinion of 4 dissenters. It doesn't matter. In history, we have seen that the majority are often wrong. The majority crucified Jesus Christ, okay? And the majority turned around and started worshiping Jesus. The majority disagreed with Christopher Columbus when he said that
You've now got my attention.
The earth was
You've now got my attention, Barack.
The majority did not agree with Galileo Galilei when he said that he was seeing bodies in outer space. So it's not a majoritarian issue. It's an issue of the numbers. And I think that Professor Makau Mutua, who is one of the people who advised the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, they do him a lot of injustice by giving him the wrong kind of counsel. Professor Makau Mutua subjected and submitted himself before the Supreme Court, whose very learned judges he now derisively refers to as the so-called. In other words, he's not recognizing them as holders of that office. We must be told whether Professor Makau Mutua and the others who are in that court, I think I saw you in that court on TV, whether they also no longer recognize that court, whether they now recant the proclamation that the Right Honorable Raila Odinga made after the Supreme Court verdict, that I do not agree with the decision of the court, but I respect it. First, they must set it aside. And then we must understand that they are on a mission to subvert the constitutional order, to overthrow the established constitutional institutions of the country. And then they must tell us what it is that they want to do and where they want to take the country.
Can I, with your permission,
yes, now it's your time.
Okay. Very good. It's a civil discussion.
Yes.
And you know, we are in a peerage.
Yeah, we're in a peer. So I just want to, first of all, make one point that my brother here made, that surely cannot be allowed to stand. He called the 4 commissioners in a commission of 7. He called the 4 dissenters. Okay? Now, my brother here is a very learned individual. He knows the meaning of the word dissent and the meaning of the word dissenters. The majority in a corporate body can never dissent. It's only the minority that can dissent. And in the case of the IEBC, and I'm looking at you straight, Barack, In the case of the IEBC, and you are now looking at me straight, in the case of the IEBC, the minority were Mr. Chebukati and the 2 others. The majority were the 4 others. Like I said before, the constitutional design of the IEBC, just like of the Supreme Court and the Supreme Courts of other countries, the numbers are odd, not even, for that reason, so that the minority can dissent and the majority can carry the day. So I just want to make that point. Number one, let me make a secondary point here that I just want to make. The secondary point that I just want to make is simply that the statement that I disagree with the opinion of the court, but respect it. That is a statement that was made by the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Okay?
Yes.
Okay?
Proceed.
Okay, in my training as a lawyer now, okay, there is nothing wrong with disagreeing with
And respecting.
and disrespecting an opinion of any tribunal. There's nothing wrong with that.
No. That's not what I said.
No, but I know that's not what you said. But I'm trying to tell you that.
Don't try.
No. I know I'm actually not twisting, as you said, twisting what, you know.
You see, we have to finish first with this issue of dissent and dissent.
Okay. Go ahead.
The person who walks away is a dissenter.
No.
The one who runs away.
No, it's not about dissenting. It's not about a physical movement.
Well, it has got.
It's about a state of mind.
It has got many manifestations.
No.
It's the rejection of that which is eventually delivered.
No, that was a rejection. That's the rejection of the attempt by the chair of the IEBC to impose on the majority a minority view. That's why they walked away.
This was not about...
That was not a dissent.
And this is what I mean, Jeff, when I say he's comparing things that cannot be compared. In court, it is about the view. That matters are prosecuted before the courts. They are argued. And those on the bench listen and they form an opinion, and that opinion, how they may agree among themselves, will eventually be the opinion of the court. Or the opinion of the court can be delivered with certain voices dissenting. It is an opinion that is informed by the evaluation of the evidence and the possible proof that is presented before the court. An opinion. In the case of elections, it's not an opinion. It is about substantive numbers. It's about numbers which are counted, and which you cannot say that these numbers, I disagree, that this person here has got more and this one has got less. So that if you remained even with one person who had the valid numbers and who is authorized by the law to declare the result.
Can I just elevate the discussion? Elevate the discussion.
We have to take a quick break, Prof. We have to take a quick break. We'll pay some bills. We'll be back in a minute, literally 1 minute.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
I'm good.
And we'll continue.
Okay.
This is what happens when classmates meet after 42 years. I love it. Like you said, we're having a civil conversation here. Let's keep it civil, folks. Plenty more to discuss. The rally the other day, what's that about? I thought people had moved on. I want to talk about that.
Which people? Which people have moved on?
You haven't moved on?
He doesn't.
Move on from where to where?
He doesn't think we are people.
No.
We are the so-called people.
Yes.
In his idiom.
Yes.
We are going to talk about that in a minute, and we're going to lay to rest the claim that he has just made.
Good stuff.
Okay.
Keep tweeting.
Very good.
TV Kenya, the hashtag JKLIVE. What a conversation, folks. JKLIVE takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.
I Sasa.
And for dessert,
Let's get juicy!
Sounds like a great idea, Gummy.
And the fun never stops.
What is it?
Kids View, best place for your kids' entertainment.
That's what I need. A brilliant idea.
Only on
Hold on!
View Sasa.